Hi everyone, Nick here. Today we're looking at another F1 2020 league race. This time it's round 8 of the Serious Racing League's third season, and we're at the magnificent Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Now this is without a doubt one of my favourite tracks, not just on F1 2020, but just in general really. I can't think of a single game where I haven't really enjoyed this track. It's a really good fun track, I really like it. It's a really good challenge, lots of different types of corners, lots of straights, Eau Rouge and Radion, you know, everyone knows those. It's a good track and I really like it. And I was determined that even driving the crappy old Williams on real performance, I was going to have a bit of fun. I wasn't expecting to be fast here. I did not think this car was going to do anything at this particular circuit, but I thought maybe I can at least have some fun challenging myself against the track itself. And if I could challenge myself against a few other people on track, that could be even better. Anyway, into qualifying, and despite the customary gloomy weather, we weren't forecast any rain in either qualifying or the race. That was good. My lap on my first run was okay actually. The track does get faster as quali goes on, so I wasn't expecting to set my best lap on the first run, and we ended up doing a 1:45.864, which was not last. That's all I can really say about it. Second lap actually felt pretty decent. I pushed quite nicely through Le Com and this section of the track, and was making up time compared to my previous best. I was actually feeling like I could actually have a go at some of these corners, and even though there was a couple of times when there'd be a little bit of understory, as you saw through the corner of no name there, we were able to have a nice time, you know, lob it into Pouon, and it felt okay, and we were able to improve to a 1:45.333. Very pleasing number there at the end, but not a pleasing 13th provisionally on the grid. So we had one more go, and this is our final flying lap. So we're going to look for the 100-metre board on the left hand side, brake just before it from 8th gear down to 2nd gear, get the car turned nicely, and then it's, well, up through the gears and floor it. Pick the line through Eau Rouge and Radion. Very easy in a modern Formula 1 car. Just basically try not to cut anything and do anything silly. Stick to the right hand side there for the minimum distance down the Kemmel Straight. And first sector's gone okay, so let's go through Le Comp. Let's lob it through here. Get a nice turn in, 4th gear through those first two bits, and then 5th gear through the next bit. And we've done okay. A little bit of a moment on the exit there though. We've probably lost about a 10th doing that. We've turned in nice and tight there, and we're going to get on the throttle, get left-hander there. We haven't really had to wrestle with the car there, and that's really helped there. So we're now 1.5 tenths up. Let's go through Pouon. Don't want to touch the curb on the inside there because it is instant death if you do, but we brush it and run nice and wide to the limit of the track, and we've really gained some time there. Through the right left there, we've kept the speed up nicely, and we're going to come through here the double right hand corner end of the second sector, and yeah, we're just shy of 3 tenths, although we're slightly gaining a little bit as we go down the back straight. And we're going to try and pick our braking point for the, well, I think it's still called the bus stop, just before 100 metres again, down to 3rd gear for the right hander, 2nd gear for the left hander, try and get it straight, then on the throttle. We've got a really nice exit through there, and we've done a 1:44.847, which was good enough for 9th place, and I was very happy with that, even though it ended up being 10th on the grid after all of the other people managed to set their laps, and I was only a second off of pole, which over a lap which is over 104 seconds long for me anyway, that's not too bad. So I was happy with that. Slightly annoying to be 10th rather than 11th and not get free choice of tyres, but hey ho, what can you do? So we're going to be starting on soft tyres, and the first thing we need to do is navigate the first few corners. La Source is a notorious turn 1 for shambles, so we're going to try and be nice and cautious. Jerome brakes a little bit earlier than we think, so we're going to try and go around the outside, and it's just about working, and we've managed to get up to 8th place. Jerome is right behind us though. At one point we thought maybe he's going to try and go through us in Eau Rouge, doesn't do it, but up ahead Port stunningly gets around the outside of Tony and then goes in for seconds, and there's collision on the right hand side. Port then comes across on the Kemmel Straight, not really sure why, not really sure how we've avoided any kind of damage there, but we've got a safety car because Jerome has unfortunately DNF'd. We've been done for an illegal overtake for overtaking Port in that incident, and we let him through, and he overtakes with literally tenths left until I was going to get an illegal overtake. So there we go. Very eventful first few corners there. Port got some damage, unsurprisingly, in the first lap incident there, and pitted at the end of lap 1, which meant that we moved up to 6th. Stefano put hard tyres on to go to the end, very bold strategy, and that put us 5th for the restart. So when the safety car was coming in at the end of lap 3, we were getting ready to have a nice safe restart and try and see if we can catch the guys in front and hold off the cars behind, because we've got Mav behind us who is in a Red Bull, which is going to be pretty handy around this track. Now, I've had issues before with restarts. I mentioned it before. I feel like I've been doing okay with them recently, but that's because I've been not defensive but a little bit more cautious. I tried to take them nice and steadily, and I've had a nice steady La Source, and we're going to go through Eau Rouge, and we're going to lift off a teensy little bit there just to make sure that if we've got any issues with tyre temperature, any grip whatsoever, we're going to be fine. The net result of that is we've held 5th really nicely. We're also now nearly 2 seconds behind the cars in front. This is not ideal, but we haven't lost a place. In fact, we actually gained a place at the end of a lap, as the ever unfortunate Maxi had to pit for, I think he had to pit for some damage, and then possibly picked up some more damage on his way into the pits. Ouch, unlucky mate. Lap 6 we had a bit more commotion behind involving Port, and he DNF'd to bring out a virtual safety car, which was okay, no real issues there, but the virtual safety car came in for me at the worst possible time, just as I was heading down to the bus stop, and the deltas on this game are just mad. So we're coming up here really wary, and it disables the VSC right as we're going for it. Now admittedly I probably shouldn't try and go through the first part of that in 7th gear, but it wasn't perfect timing. As you can see, Mav is now matter of tenths behind me, and he's going to have DRS, so we need to defend here. But fortunately this was pretty much the exact pattern of, well, actually the race, to be a bit of a spoiler for the rest of it. Mav did not have the pace to try and overtake me, unfortunately, down the straights. As you can see there, we're now almost a second clear. That's not too bad, and we're drifting away from the top 3 by miles. Yeah, not ideal, but we were pretty much solidifying our place in 4th. 4th became 3rd at the start of lap 9 as Owl pitted from ahead of us, and we were going to pit at the end of this lap, so we duly did. Pull into the right hand side from the bus stop and go into the pits. Now we were going to do a very standard strategy here, softs at the start, pit at lap 9, put the mediums on, go to the end, so no problem. Actually the flip to pretty much every single strategy I've done recently, and it was going to be interesting to see what would happen, because we'd had a couple of people who'd pitted early on the full safety car at the start of the race. Stefano pitted at the start to put hards on. There were people doing 2 stoppers because they had to pit early and went straight back onto softs again, and there were people who'd started on mediums. So there's a bit of a mixture, and when I came out in 13th I wasn't really sure how quickly, or if I indeed would gain any of those places back. So at the start of lap 11 we managed to gain a couple of those places back and get back up to 11th, but at this point in the race nothing really happened. and it started getting a bit boring really. As I said before, Mav didn't have the legs on me down the straights, which meant I was basically safe in sectors 1 and 3. In sector 2, in his Red Bull, he was very, very handy indeed and would generally cruise up to the back of me. But where can you overtake in sector 2? I can't think of anywhere where you'd even really consider a lunge really. I mean, technically Lecombe is sector 2, but you know what I mean. So he was a bit stuck behind me and would be getting very, very sick of the back of my Williams by the end of the race, no doubt. Anyway, at the end of lap 13, we did our usual trick of overtaking people in the pit lane. So that's 2 more places, and we go up back into the points into 9th place. And then on lap 14, lap 15 about to start, we had more people pitting, and this one was going to be a bit tighter because we managed to jump 2 people there. Then we get past DP into 6th, but then the pit lane cuts the source, so he's able to get out, and we've got the run on him, but we've not got enough of a run, and we could think about lunging up the inside of Eau Rouge, but that's just, unless you're poor, you're not going to get that done. So then it's, can we get him down the DRS straight? This is probably going to be our only chance because he's on fresh tyres in a good car, and we're not going to get it done. Not even close. Far too far behind. DRS was not strong enough, and that's DP nice and comfortably ahead of us. Now, one thing I've been thinking about adding to these highlights videos is some kind of prediction game. The prediction being, on what lap or laps will I get overtaken by a Renault in a DRS zone blasting past me? And in this race, if you had predicted lap 16, you'd be completely right, as Maxi is miles behind there, but is going to rocket past. I don't really fight it too much because I know it's going to happen eventually. And he goes through into 6th, and we're now down into 7th place. He does have 6 seconds of penalties though, so we know we just need to hang on to his car. And that was essentially the theme of the second half of the race to me. Try and stick with the cars in front. We had a virtual safety car after Coulthard crashed out, which was going to help us as well immensely because Coulthard was ahead of us, so he was one of the 6 cars in front. He unfortunately hit Sonny, who retired in the pit lane. Sonny's car came out, didn't ghost, and smashed him off. We had to avoid Coulthard's car in Eau Rouge, which did not look ghosted at all. We didn't take the chance, and fortunately we were able to do that at a slightly reduced speed while the virtual safety car was coming out. But by this point Maxi also had 9 seconds of penalties, and the cars behind us also had penalties, so we were trying to make sure we stayed within 9 seconds of Maxi. It's 2 seconds gap at the moment, so we've got 7 seconds to stay ahead. Monty in his Mercedes, he started last by the way, is going to fly past us there, but he's got 3 seconds worth of penalties, so again it's mission stay within 3 seconds of him. And then on the final lap, he's now got 6 seconds of penalties, Monty has, so we're looking at that as well. And Hom behind us in his Ferrari has got 3 seconds. Now of course we know what's going to happen here because we can see some arrows appearing. We've got everything that we can do. We're about to run out of ERS unfortunately as we enter the Kemmel Straight. Not ideal. Have a look back, see a rather large red car behind us, and in a completely unrealistic turn of events we have been overtaken down the Kemmel Straight by a Ferrari. Very realistic, Cody's very realistic. But again, because he's got 3 seconds of penalties, we are just going to try and hang on to him. So we've got a weird sort of situation where we're trying to stay within 3 seconds of a car in front, 6 seconds of the car in front of that, and then 9 seconds of the car in front of that. And if we can do all of that, then we could be on for some decent points. So we just tried to focus in the final section of the race, essentially just maximising or minimising really our total race time and just getting to the line as quickly as possible and as safely as possible in terms of not picking up any penalties. I'm not sure if I even got any warnings in this race, so very safe from me. And the idea was just basically jump people just because of penalties. Not the most thrilling of tactics really, but when you're in a Williams you don't really have much else other than survival, tactics and strategy. You're not going to outpace anyone. Anyway, you can see that we have stayed successfully within 3 seconds of Hom ahead. We're going to cross the line and we are going to get 5th place after taking all 3 of those people after penalties are applied. And that's pretty decent, I think, given we started 10th and had no confidence in the pace. To finish 5th, I think that's good. Again, it shows that not getting penalties is a really good idea on this game. It's a good idea anyway, but it really helps if you're not going to get extra time unnecessarily added to your race time. And that's moved us up into 9th place in the championship standings after 8 races, 39 points in total. We're some way off the top, but again, we're doing pretty much as well as we can do, I think. Points in every single race apart from one where we finished 11th. Not too shabby. As ever, we finish by asking, what have we learnt? I'll be honest, I'm not really sure we learnt a huge amount here, other than to reiterate a point I made about a minute ago. If you want to have a good race, you have to survive. The old Murray Walker thing of to finish first you must finish. Obviously in a Williams, well, in Murray Walker's day, that would have been an option in a Williams. It's not anymore, unfortunately. But if you want to finish in a decent position, you have to finish the race. You have to keep out of trouble, you have to not get any damage, and despite the first lap incident where I could very easily have got damage from the collision with Port, I didn't. And then after that, I played it nice and safe, I played it nice and cautious, I had okay pace, decent strategy, and tied it all together. And we got a decent result. Boring, but effective. Nice one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already done so, then don't forget to do all of the usual liking and subscribing stuff. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord, see the details in the description below. You can come and watch these races live on Twitch every Wednesday and Sunday. Link is on the screen now and also in the description, so why not pop along to see one of these as it happens. But until next time and the next race, goodbye.